Did you know that over 12.5 million people participate in hunting and conservation efforts in the United States? I will inform you on some of the major benefits of conservation in the United States. First, we'll cover the major activities involved in conservation efforts. We'll cover some of the benefits to the environment from conservation. We'll go over some of the financial benefits to the state and the community and the nation, businesses. And last, we'll learn great ways to incorporate conservation into our own lives. Much of the information I'm going to share came from the U.S. Parks and Recreation Service, the Wildlife Service. They do a survey every 5 years. The most recent one was 2016. It has a ton of information, and I personally have a ton of knowledge and experience in it. Some of the major activities involved in conservation efforts. Hunting is huge in the United States, a $25 billion industry in the United States. It's a lot of money. 5% of the nation participates in it every year, which doesn't seem like a huge percentage, but it's some 12.5 million people every year participate in hunting alone. Fishing, absolutely huge too. So hunting you think's big at 25 billion. Fishing comes in at $46 billion a year in industry. That's your equipment, licensing, fees, all that stuff. It's $25 billion in the fishing industry, so the fishing industry really big. Wildlife related activity, your bird watching, everything, your outdoor sports, all that stuff comes in really big in conservation. It's a huge contributor to conservation efforts, the people, the community, everything. It's really big. Some of the benefits to the environment from conservation. So control over the population of certain species. So can you imagine how bad deer would be? White-tailed deer alone in North America would be overpopulated if there was no hunting efforts, if the Department of Natural Resources in every state didn't do the studies they do to issue the permits to get rid of these things. Going hand in hand with preventing disease in animals, fish, deer. Deer, I know personally, chronic wasting disease and all these other diseases that are spread mouth to mouth, just like humans have diseases, deer get them the same way. So hunting is a huge way to eliminate that. It's from overpopulation. It's nature's way of kind of working itself out, but we're here to help with it. Fish, they get all sorts of diseases from being overpopulated in lakes. It can cause algae buildup. All sorts of diseases come from having too many fish of a certain species in a lake. Organizational groups participate in protection of our natural resources in the environment and conservation. So you have the National Rifle Association, you have Ducks Unlimited, all sorts of different groups that amass tons of people for efforts. And it's not always, just financial. It's going out and cleaning it up. If it's going out and anything they're doing to take care of our natural resources, it's more than just hunting stuff down or catching fish. It's everything as a whole. The financial benefits of conservation in the United States. Contributions from licensing sales go directly to the state. They get a ton of money from it. It's grown exponentially over the last 2 decades, according to the Conservation Department and the Wildlife Survey. The cost of licensing, especially for out-of-state residents, has gone up drastically from state to state, and the money goes right back into conservation. So it's really a great thing. Hunters, fishers, we complain about it a little bit, but it really does go back and it does good things. Trip expenditures are really big. So you have out-of-state residents that come and participate. All that money goes back into local businesses, whether they're buying new rifles, fishing rods, if they're anything they're doing. Bird watching is $75 billion industry, bigger than hunting and fishing. Who would have known? But bird watching equipment sales are huge. So you get all the local business that comes from all this on top of the value of it itself from licensing and stuff like that. It's really big. In conclusion, some of the ways you can participate in this conservation efforts throughout the United States. It's not always hunting and fishing. Bird watching, really big. Like I said, all these things that you can do to help protect our environment. Hunting and fishing doesn't destroy it like many people think. They're really, really good for it, and they help contribute as a whole, and it makes for a better future for us. Thanks.